And what we've seen here in 2026, as you and I are speaking, Spider-Man Brand New Day had one of the biggest opening weekends in the history of movies.
Yes, it did. And I loved it.
And
I saw it in 3D.
You contributed to the box office.
I did.
You saw it in 3D?
I did. I saw it in 3D because, I was away from home.
2.5D, let's be honest.
Okay, but it was pretty, for somebody who doesn't care for fight sequences and a lot of, I have to say the arc of this film, and again, I'm not a big Marvel or comic book or any of that. I loved the whole mind control, intuition, and there's this, as you know, that's sort of something I'm passionate about.
Yes.
And so to take this theme, for those who don't know, I'm not going to do a spoiler alert, but there's a villain that can basically go into other people's minds and become them and control them. So the ultimate mind control from teleporting, I guess they called it hopping, and they had to be within 33 feet. It was a very interesting underbelly there that I tracked with, and watching it in 3D, 2.5D, it was really neat.
Well, it's really interesting. I as a I'm not like the biggest Comic-Con going geek in the world, but I know the basic comic books. But sometimes there'll be a reference to a secondary character, and the geeks in the theater are like, oh my God.
Right.
That's Dr. McGillicuddy. You don't understand. He's eventually going to become Popeye, which I know that's not. Please don't write and tell me that's not how it goes.
Right.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I do love the superhero movies. But over the years, Jen, my favorite superhero movies are the grounded ones, where they take place usually just here in the United States, without going up into the the multiverse. And every time there's a superhero movie where it turns out we get this backstory about some ancient god who was cursed and now has been buried under 3,000 feet of limestone on in a 14th dimension, but will one day awaken and take over the world. And they always just want to destroy the planets, which is very weird. I'm going to rule the world, but first I'm going to destroy it. I'm Thanos, whatever.
Yeah, right.
Some of them are well done, but I like when Superman is in Metropolis and he's Clark Kent, he's a mild-mannered reporter for the Daily Planet, but then he solves crime. Or, the Batman movies
Christopher Nolan.
Joker, the Chris Nolan movies. They're it's Joker. And, that's why I love the Penguin series, because, the Penguin, nobody came flying out of the sky to take down the Penguin. So I saw this account on Twitter that had millions and millions of followers, and it said, here are the 106 hours of Marvel movies you need to watch. You must watch before seeing Spider-Man Brand New Day. And I'm like, actually, no. All you need to know is this. Peter Parker has been erased from the memories of everybody he knows and loves. He doesn't exist other than just as this guy. They don't remember Peter. They don't remember, with MJ's case, that they were in love, or with Ned's case, that they were best friends. Nobody remembers Peter Parker. It's a brand new day because now he has to figure out, he's still Spider-Man, but how does Peter Parker cope with the fact that he's an unknown entity?
And his whole past is just wiped from their minds.
From all of their minds. But he remembers all of it.
Right.
All of it.
And maybe that's my responsibility, to live alone with the truth. Because I'm not just Peter Parker. I'm Spider-Man.
You have a guy now, a young man in his 20s, living in New York City. His best friends have come back from college, and they don't know him, but he interacts with them, which makes it even more tragic. It's the middle of It's a Wonderful Life, where it's Mary, don't you know me?
Right.
Where where all of a sudden George Bailey, nobody knows him.
Right.
So there's something in the middle of this superhero movie, these brilliant acting performances, and nobody ever gets nominated usually from superhero movies, but the performances are realistic and grounded. So that's why I love the movie. I think Peter Parker might be the most relatable of these characters, Jen. Even Superman comes from a distant planet and is basically immortal on Earth, close to being immortal without kryptonite. And Batman / Bruce Wayne and Iron Man, Tony Stark, they're humans, but they're billionaires, Peter Parker's I put it this way, Peter Parker's the kind of guy who would go to Comic-Con. Bruce Wayne and Tony Stark would buy the rights to Comic-Con and charge you more to get in, So I think more people can relate to him. So